Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, because right now Bitcoin is testing the 0.5 level of resistance on these Fibonacci levels here, sitting at 59.5K. So potentially the Bitcoin price can break back above and start testing this next level of resistance above that, which is the Fibonacci golden pocket, sitting between the 0.618 level and the 0.65 level, so between 62,000 and 62.7K. Although for now we are trading inside a weekend, and typically on weekends, you will see lower volumes here in the market. And this weekend is in fact no different in that sense. So far, we have seen very low volume and therefore the price is pretty much flat. So I am expecting this to continue for the rest of the weekend here. And then of course, when the markets open on Monday, I do think we are going to see more volatility after that. Now, in the case that we actually get rejected from this 0.5 level once again, then again, we have to look towards the 0.382 Fibonacci level, sitting at 57,000 US dollars as a level of support. Just like I said, when we were reaching this level right here, and then we got a perfect rejection with a candle straight down to this Fibonacci level here. So again, I do think that this could act as a short-term level of support here. Moving on to the Bitcoin CME Gap. This is something that is very important in every weekend, of course, because in the case that you don't know, over 90% of CME gaps tend to get filled. In this case, we have a CME Gap at 60,000 US dollars. So it is likely that we are going to trade close to this level or fully reach this level here when the markets open again on Monday. So that is something to look out for. And if you don't know exactly what a CME gap is, you could just look that up on Google and get a full explanation there. Because I just want to continue with the technical analysis here. All you need to know for now, though, is that we have the CME gap at 60K. Moving on to the support and resistance levels for Bitcoin here. Right now, Bitcoin is moving up towards this next level of resistance, sitting from 60,000 all the way up to 62.4K. So if we reach back into this level here, make sure to pay attention to the price action because we can get a rejection back to the downside. Although for now, I would say I am not expecting too much volatility here. Likely, we are just going to see some price action between these two levels here until we actually close out this weekend and all the exchanges as well as the Bitcoin ETFs start trading again on Monday. For now, though, after we got this pump to the upside, we are seeing some short-term bearish momentum. So if you want to see a break of that bearish momentum, you could look towards something like this descending line of resistance, where breaking that could potentially send us higher into this level of resistance here. And of course, if we break this level of resistance at 62.4K, then likely we are heading up to this next level of resistance above that, sitting at 65 all the way up to 66,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. So that is something you could be looking out for. Now, in terms of support to the downside, so let's say that we get a rejection from this trend line or just from this big level of resistance here. Well, in that case, you have this big level of support to the downside, sitting from 58,000 all the way down to 56,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. So again, if we reach into this level, you could look for a short-term bounce out of there. Besides that, taking a look at the higher timeframes here. So for example, the 1-day time frame, Bitcoin is still just consolidating in this descending channel that I have been talking about for months at this point. Now, again, we have this descending line of resistance here in the charts, where right now, basically, Bitcoin is trading right on top of this descending line of resistance. So you could be looking out for a potential rejection from here or an actual breakout. But in either case, regardless of if it is a rejection or a breakout, personally, I would really be cautious here for a potential fake out, especially if it is a low volume breakout. So again, look for that volume profile here. Now, the way to confirm an actual breakout is by using 3 signals. One of them is, again, a big spike in volume. The second one is getting confirmed candle closes above the point of the breakout. And the third thing you could look out for is a potential breakout, a retest of this previous level of resistance, flipping it into a level of support, and then blasting off from there. That is the third way of confirming an actual breakout. And the less of these signals you have, in that case, the less likely it is that it is an actual breakout. And you could see, for example, something like this. If it actually breaks out over this weekend, And then on the market open, you could just see a move straight to the downside if the Bitcoin ETFs start dumping, for example. So I'm just telling you guys, to summarize all of this, to watch out if you are seeing a breakout here, especially on low volume during a weekend, because on weekends it is more likely to see fake outs. Moving on to the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, first of all, in the 24-hour time frame. Right now we have some liquidity to the upside and to the downside, which is pretty typical to see on a weekend like this where there is low volatility. Moving on to this 3-day time frame, you can see that we again have liquidity to the downside as well as liquidity to the upside. However, most of the liquidity is actually to the upside, sitting at about 60,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. And keep in mind, guys, that this also aligns with this CME gap here. And this is making me think that it is very likely that we are going to grab this liquidity to the upside here and fill the CME gap quite early on in the week. Now, that is, of course, not financial advice, but I am just telling you what I see in the charts. You can do with that information what you like. Lastly, taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables for today. On Friday, we saw a net inflow of about $35 million, which is a relatively small inflow. And this aligns exactly with what I said yesterday as well, where basically we are just seeing the market being quite patient, waiting to see what the actual momentum is going to be. And I do think it is likely that sometime soon, either next week or the week after, we are going to see a clear confirmation of what that next move for Bitcoin is going to be. So it will either be a strong push to the upside or a strong push to the downside. But for now, Bitcoin is simply consolidating. And again, I do expect this to continue over this weekend, unless we get some kind of crazy news event or something like that. This has been today's market update. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm really trying to reach 5,000 subscribers, so if you can help me with that, I would really appreciate it. Either way, if you end up subscribing or not, thank you for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.